Obama did it better. Obama did it better.
The best president, Donald Trump or Barack Obama?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, okay.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, okay. So you're American, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Barack Obama.
Why Barack Obama?
I respect him.
Probably you're from America, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Barack Obama, hands down.
Yeah, why?
There's only one right answer to that question, and if you look at anything in our country, it's always Barack Obama.
Oh, Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, yeah? Okay, why Barack Obama?
I don't really know those president, but Donald Trump seems really scary.
Okay, Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Oui, Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, okay, how about you?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, oh, okay, why Barack Obama?
He's much better than Donald Trump. Yes.
Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, yeah, why Barack Obama?
Do I need to expand on that?
Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Obama for sure.
Why Obama?
Why? Because Trump is a Nazi, basically.
Obama did it better. The new talking point from MAGA is, well, Obama dropped bombs too. Yeah, he did. And he did it better. Obama was able to use surgical strikes and limited military operations to take out targets and not start a fucking war. How about that shit? He did it better. In fact, most of the things that the Trumpies like about Trump, Obama did better. We'll go with unemployment. Obama did better. Economy. Obama did better. Deportations. Obama did better. He was able to deport way more people than Donald Trump, and he's able to do it on 1/10 of the freaking budget. Yeah? And without sending fucking goon squads into American cities. Obama did it better. Obama was able to get across a healthcare bill. Trump can't. Obama did it better. Obama was able to get tax cuts for the low and middle class. Trump for the upper class, for the rich. Obama did it better. So trying to say that Obama did it too on any subject just shows the failure of Trump and the failure of his people to recognize that everything that Trump said Obama did it fucking better. They just don't like that a black man did it better than a white man. And one last point, let's not forget that Obama was able to get Iran to enter into a non-proliferation treaty for nukes. Trump couldn't do it, so Obama did it better.
And the reason some people think, wow, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts.
Such a smart man. So Barack Obama still remains the best president in the hearts of many Americans, even after leaving office. And even those who criticize him, they are now admitting that he led with class and diplomacy. Yes, he deported people, but the way he did it, it wasn't loud, it wasn't chaotic, it was just better. And that realization is making a lot of MAGA so uncomfortable. So let's get to see more reactions. And thank you so much for your support. Please share and subscribe, all right? Let's dive into it.
Liberals need to stop complaining about Trump's deportations. Obama deported millions of people. Where was their outrage back then?
There was outrage. Activists called him deporter-in-chief. The difference is what he was deporting people for.
What do you mean?
Well, Obama prioritized deporting people with major criminal convictions. Trump just labels everyone a criminal.
But the numbers...
Here's what the numbers show. Over 70% of people detained by Trump have no criminal convictions.
And Obama?
Obama's enforcement prioritized criminals. By 2016, over 90% of people removed from inside the U.S. had criminal convictions.
Okay, but at least 56 people died in ICE custody under Obama.
Yes, and no death is excusable, but that still doesn't compare to what we're seeing with Trump. Not only have we seen murders on the streets, but 38 people have died in ICE custody in just 13 months.
But Obama was still higher.
But that's comparing 8 years to 13 months.
So if you times that by 8, it will be over 300?
Yes, and another key difference is that 85% of Obama's deportations were at the border, while Trump is terrorizing American cities with interior raids.
Is that why I keep seeing videos of ICE agents in mass dragging people out of their homes?
Yes, and Trump increased the ICE budget by $170 billion. So it's only going to get worse if we don't demand changes.
Y'all want to know why they hate Obama so much? Watch this.
You have a power to stop deportation for all of them.
Actually, I don't. And that's why we're here.
I need your help.
Okay.
Stop deportation! Stop deportation!
Thank you. All right.
Stop deportation!
What I'd like to do... No, don't worry about it, guys. Okay, let me finish. Let me... How about... These guys don't need to go. Let me finish. I respect the passion of these young people because they feel deeply about the concerns for their families. Now, what you need to know when I'm speaking as President of the United States and I come to this community is that if, in fact, I could solve all these problems without passing laws in Congress, then I would do so. But we're also a nation of laws. That's part of our tradition. And so the easy way out is to try to yell and pretend like I can do something by violating our laws. And what I'm proposing is the harder path, which is to use our democratic processes to achieve the same goal that you want to achieve. But it won't be as easy as just shouting. It requires us lobbying and getting it done. So for those of you who are committed to getting this done, I am going to march with you and fight with you every step of the way to make sure that we are welcoming every striving, hard-working immigrant who sees America the same way we do. As a country where no matter who you are or what you look like or where you come from, you can make it if you try. And if you're serious about making that happen, then I'm ready to work with you. But it is going to require work. It is not simply a matter of us just saying we're going to violate the law. That's not our tradition. But the great thing about this country is we have this wonderful process of democracy, and sometimes it is messy and sometimes it is hard. But ultimately, justice and truth win out. That's always been the case in this country. That's going to continue to be the case today.
They know they could never. They know they could never. And that's why they hate him. That's why he is so far under their skin. And it's I hate to say unfortunate, but it's kind of unfortunate that he did follow the law and follow the process, because the other people hated him for doing that. If he would have broke the law and not followed the rules or whatever the case may be, this would have been a completely different conversation. But Republicans hate him because they cannot be him.
This whole how come you're mad at Trump but not at Obama for the deportation numbers cracks me up, because that just means that Obama's better. Obama did it better, faster, more efficient, with less American lives lost and less protests. Although there were nationwide ones, if you remember, like I do, because I was alive during then. We called him the deporter in chief. We, as in Democrats, the ACLU and the activist groups, because we didn't like the policies either. And do you know what the Republicans did? They called us morons and said that we ate our own and we didn't just get in line, and there was no united front to us Democrats. And so, weren't we hilarious? We weren't to be taken seriously. Mr. Marco Rubio and Miss Lindsey Graham were up there all the time talking about executive overreach. Look at him now, shining bright as a penny on that Air Force One, with zero values and scruples left. But I digress. What you're telling me is Obama's better. What you're telling me is that none of this shit in Minneapolis is necessary, because Obama did it better, faster, stronger. Trump sucks at his job, and this is just another indication of that.
Obama did three incredible things which touched many people. First was the Obama Foundation, which focused on empowering young leaders across the world, and it was all about saying, the future doesn't belong to me, the future belongs to you. And that's a very different mindset from leaders who focus only on their own influence. He also donated his entire Nobel Peace Prize money to support education to communities around the world who couldn't afford education. And that says something about character. And then, of course, the Affordable Care Act, which enabled 20 million Americans who couldn't afford health care at some point to be able to get a chance. And that impact, it was real, measurable human impact.
Remember this outfit that Donald Trump just wore? You won't ever guess who he got the idea from. That's right, the guy he's obsessed with, Barack Obama. So tell me, who do you think wore it better? The best president in modern day history, or Piggy?
All right, a lot of people were in the comment section of my last video about Obama saying that that was over the course of 8 years. So let's narrow down the focus. Let's look at the last 2 years of his last term, specifically at immigration enforcement outcomes. Obama had an error rate of 0.0225%. That means 54 mistakes out of 239,645 arrests. One mistake per 4,444 arrests. As far as deaths in ICE custody, there was one death per 14,314 detainees. And then there were 4 U.S. citizens that were mistakenly deported. All right, those are some pretty strong numbers. I don't know how you're going to top that. Oh, wait. Let's look at the results for Trump's first year of his second term. There was an error rate of 0.0065%. That's 40 mistakes out of 595,000 arrests. So one mistake per 14,925 arrests. As far as deaths in ICE custody, one death per 18,594 detainees, and 0 U.S. citizens mistakenly deported. For the last 2 years of Obama's second term and the first year of Trump's second term, the numbers kind of speak for themselves, and numbers don't really care about the narrative. They just are. I'm not saying that the system is perfect. The goal should always be precision and accountability. But if the claim is that it's never been this bad, that Obama did it better, and that enforcement automatically equals cruelty, the data just doesn't support that.
And on Monday, we celebrate Memorial Day, to honor and remember all the men and women who have given their lives in service to this country we love. They are heroes, each and every one. They gave America the most precious thing they had.
The linguist, translator, and cryptologic technician.
Obama deported way more people and none of y'all were protesting then. Right, he did. He did it with less ICE officers, less money being spent. He spent, right now, the ICE budget is about 6 times larger than when Obama was president. So way less money being spent. Less people being hurt, less people being killed, less craziness on the street, less harassment of U.S. citizens. It was done in a way that was kind of invisible. No one saw the enforcement because they did it in a professional manner where they weren't making all this noise and all this racket. Right now, ICE is acting like a gang. They're going around like a gang, marking their territory. We don't have a problem with enforcing immigration law. We have a problem with the way it's being enforced right now. Obama showed you that Obama, the way he did it, that it can be done in a professional manner without all this psycho behavior and all this craziness happening. That's what we want. We want a federal law enforcement that is professional, follows the law, and we know that we can trust that they're not going to abuse you and they're not going to lie on TV after they murder you. Because that's what happened. You know, they murdered this dude and immediately they went on TV and they lied about it. We don't want that. We want, my entire life, I have grown up in this country. I was born in this country, and I've watched the way federal law enforcement behaves and reacts and enacts and carries out their duties. And they have always been very professional. It's always the local police that are like kind of ghetto and like you can expect weird behavior. But the FBI, you know that they're going to follow the law. They always have. And right now, that's slowly being chipped away and falling apart. And that is probably one of the scariest things that can happen. We want federal law enforcement that's going to do their job correctly. That's all.
This conversation is about what people truly value in leadership once the noise fades. Because when you strip away the slogans, the rallies, The viral moments, what are you left with? You are left with impact. You are left with lives changed. You are left with policies that either helped people or didn't. You are left with how a leader made people feel, not just in moments of excitement, but in moments of crisis, uncertainty, and division. And this is where Barack Obama's legacy continues to stand out, not because he was perfect, because no president is, but because of how he approached power. He led with calm. He led with thoughtfulness. He led with a sense of responsibility, not just to his supporters, but to the entire country and even the world. And people remember that. They remember a time when the tone of leadership felt measured, not explosive. When disagreements didn't automatically turn into insults. When diplomacy wasn't seen as weakness, but as strength. Critics are bringing up deportations, but enforcement can exist without cruelty, without being dehumanizing, and that matters to people. Because leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about how you do it. Leadership should bring global respect, the composure, the long-term initiatives, and lives improved. That's why even after leaving office, Barack Obama still holds a special place in the hearts of so many Americans and people around the world. Not because of hype, not because of nostalgia alone, but because when they look back, they see stability, they see dignity, they see leadership that felt presidential. And in times like this, people start to realize something, that you don't always recognize what you had until it's gone. So this isn't just about comparing two presidents. It's about redefining what we expect from those in power. Do we expect noise or results? Do we want division or unity? Do we want ego or empathy? Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.